Ladies and gentlemen, Iran is under fire. The hidden war between the US, Israel, and Tehran, and why Africa must pay attention now. And I'm going to take my time to break it down. But see, this conflict you are witnessing now did not start this year, not even this decade. It is over 70 years ago. And in this video, I'm going to take my time step by step and break down one of the most dangerous geopolitical tensions in modern history: the power struggle between the United States, Israel, and Iran, and why Africa must study this carefully. This is not about social media noise. This is strategy and historical pattern. This is power. So take your time and stay with me as I break it down for you to understand. However, if this is the first time you are coming across my channel, make it a point to hit that subscribe button, like the video, share the video, go to the comment section and let me know what you think about the conversation we are going to have. New viewers, you are very welcome. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Returnees, please do the same, like, share, and comment. But my subscribers, Twali, I thank you so much for being here with me all this while. It has been a journey, but I really appreciate you. You are the reason why we are still here. So how did we get here? To understand today's attack and tensions, we must go back to the 1950s. In fact, 1953 exactly. The United States, through a CIA operation known as Operation Ayas, helped overthrow Iran's democratically elected Prime Minister, Mohammad Mossadegh. It is well documented in the classified US government archives. And at the time, Mossadegh had nationalized Iran's oil industry, challenging Western oil interests, particularly British Petroleum. The coup reinstated the Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who became a pro-Western authoritarian ruler. Fast forward in 1979, the Islamic Revolution had become so radical at the time, led by Ayatollah Khomeini, and the Islamic Revolution at the time overthrew the Shah and established the Islamic Republic of Iran. From that moment forward, relations between Iran and the United States collapsed. The US Embassy hostage crisis at the time only deepened the divide. Since 1979, Iran has positioned itself as openly anti-US and anti-Israel. Now, what is Israel's position here? To understand Israel's position, we must understand doctrine. Israel views Iran as an existential threat. Iran's leadership has repeatedly declared opposition to Israel's existence. Israel knows that Iran's leadership has repeatedly declared opposition to its existence. And on the other hand, they have it on their minds that Iran funds and arms regional groups such as Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. Israel operates under what analysts call the Begin Doctrine, and this particular doctrine was established after Israel had successfully destroyed Iraq's Osirak nuclear reactor in 1981. Israel will not allow hostile states in the region to obtain nuclear weapons. This explains repeated Israeli airstrikes on Iranian-linked targets in Syria and elsewhere. Israel sees preemptive actions as survival, not aggression. From Israel's strategic view, a nuclear Iran shifts the entire balance of power in the Middle East. Now, there is something we call the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, that is the JCPOA. It was signed in 2015 between Iran and the world powers including the US, UK, France, Germany, China, and Russia. Under that particular deal, Iran limited uranium enrichment in exchange. According to reports from the International Atomic Energy Agency, Iran initially complied. But in 2018, the United States under President Donald Trump withdrew from the agreement and reimposed sanctions. Afterward, Iran gradually expanded uranium enrichment beyond agreed levels. This is the central tension. The US and Israel argue that Iran is moving towards nuclear weapon capability. On the contrary, Iran insists its program is peaceful. No conclusive public evidence currently confirms Iran has a nuclear weapon, but enrichment level has raised global alarm. So now what brought about the direct military escalations? Now follow me straight into 2020. The United States killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in a drone strike in Iraq. This marked one of the most direct escalations in decades. Iran retaliated with missile strikes on US base in Iraq. Beyond open military exchanges, analysts describe an ongoing shadow war, cyber attacks, assassinations, sabotage of nuclear facility, and maritime confrontations in the Strait of Hormuz, a choke point through which roughly 20% of global oil passes. When tension strikes, global oil prices react instantly. Now think carefully. Who depends heavily on oil revenue? Who suffers when oil shipping is disrupted? Many African nations. Think about it. So now the bigger question, why talk of regime change? The phrase regime change is sensitive but not imaginary. The United States of America has historically supported regime change efforts globally. Iraq in 2003, Libya in 2011, and many others. Official US policy toward Iran focuses on behavior change, not necessarily regime change. However, numerous US officials across administrations have expressed support for democratic transformation in Iran. Sanctions aim to weaken Iran's economy. Internal protests in Iran, especially in 2009, 2019, and 2022, have intensified discussions internationally. Israel's concern is primarily security-based, preventing a nuclear-armed adversary. But here is the thing. Critics argue that sustained economic pressure, isolation, and support for opposition movements amount to indirect pressure for regime transformation. Whether explicit or not, the strategic outcome some policymakers desire is a less hostile government in Tehran. So why must Africa watch carefully? Here is where this becomes critical for Africa. History shows that when major powers label a government hostile, narratives form. Sanctions, isolation, internal unrest, then strategic pressure. Many African countries are resource-rich, geopolitically important, and increasingly assertive in foreign policy, including partnership with China, Russia, and Middle Eastern powers. Iran itself has strengthened ties across Africa in recent years. Therefore, Africa must study patterns carefully, and these are some of the patterns. Economic sanctions as foreign policy tools, information warfare and narrative shaping, strategic alliance and counter alliances, then proxy conflicts. The Middle East has often been the testing grounds for geopolitical doctrines. Africa must never be unaware of how great power competition evolves. This story is not about choosing sides, it is about understanding patterns. Power does not move randomly in international politics. It moves strategically. And the tension between the United States, Israel, and Iran is a masterclass in long-term geopolitical chess. And if Africa intends to rise confidently on the global stage, we must study the board carefully. Thank you so much for joining me through this episode. Until this time, you are loved. Thank you so much. Remember to hit that subscribe button, like the video, share the video, and go to the comment section. Let me know what you think about this very conversation. Remember, this was Inside Studios Network.